The next speaker is, according to the list, is AIDMK Srimati Vijaya Satyanath. She is giving her place to Sri Sitaram Yechuri with her consent.
Does that mean that AIDMK is not participating in this debate?
No, in the next round. Next round. Next round. Yes.
I am asking the chair a question.
They will speak in the next round.
No, I am asking you a question.
In the next round.
Just one.
Yeah, next round only. Next round only.
I am only asking.
Next round only.
I am only asking.
Your chance will not be taken away.
I have no problem. I am only asking you a question.
Yes.
Since after.
No. She will speak or AIDMK will speak in the next round.
I am only asking you a simple question, sir.
I reply to that.
After Samajwadi Party, AIDMK, then Trinamool Congress. What I understand is AIDMK is now giving the slot to the other honorable member to speak.
Yeah. So after that, you will be called. Okay, Sri Sitaram Yechuri. No. That is a special request because he has to go for some award function. This kind of adjustment we always do. After all, we are comrades. This side or that side, we are all.
I'm glad you use the word comrades.
Comrade in the larger sense.
I'm glad in that sense only. Comrade in anyway, sir, I am rising to speak with a very heavy heart, and also in the background of what happened in the House just now, and the sort of atmosphere that we have seen here that doesn't augur very well for our parliamentary democracy. But anyway, since the problem is solved, I do not want to reach there. But I'm actually standing here speaking with my head hanging in shame. Where has our republic come to? 70 years earlier, we had the pride in the world to say that while no other Western democracy could have the courage to say from day one we shall give universal suffrage for everybody in our country, irrespective of their religious affiliation, irrespective of their caste, irrespective of their gender, we gave universal suffrage, which was a revolutionary step at that point of time. That was basis was recognition, was equality. It is that equality today that is being questioned and is being severely trampled upon through these instances of lynching. My earlier speakers have listed various instances. I'm not going to repeat them, but just look at some of the gruesome tales, sir. You'll have Akhlaq lynched on his dinner table because of the allegation that he's eating beef. That was in 2015. 2 youngsters in Latehar in Jharkhand are hanged because they are cattle. They are taking their cattle for a cattle fair, Muslim boys. You'll have Pehlu Khan, a dairy farmer, lynched in Alwar. You have in Una Dalits who are skinning dead cows because that is the job that Dalits unfortunately are to do. You have them lynched. Boys were whipped, lynched, and that was filmed. And we were just talking about social media. It was all over viral on that. And you had Junaid and his brothers recently that has happened. You had Zafar killed by officials in Rajasthan because he stopped a woman defecating in the open, being filmed. What is this level of intolerance that is happening, and what are the gruesome tales that we are seeing? Recollect, sir, when Rabindranath Tagore returned his knighthood, what were the words he used? He said, "Give me a voice of thunder that I can hurl imprecations upon this cannibal whose gruesome hunger spares neither the woman nor the child." That is the degree of dehumanization that we have arrived at. Now, why have we arrived at that? That is something that needs to be understood, debated, and a conclusion has to be, we have to reach in this august house. Yes, we have international experiences of lynching. It comes down from history, from the medieval times of the Spanish Inquisition. And what was the one thing that Spanish Inquisition did? How did they identify who's a Muslim and who's a Jew? By giving them a broth of soup which contained pork. Those who did not drink that soup were identified as Jews and Muslims and persecuted, and the rest of it followed. One legacy the Spanish Inquisition left behind was the triangular cap that was taken over by the Ku Klux Klan in the United States of America. Till 1940, they were persecuting the blacks, saying that they were inferior human beings. And you remember, I'm sure some of my older colleagues will remember, there was a very famous song by Billie Holiday, which was titled The Strange Fruit. And the song began by saying that what is the strange fruit on the southern trees, Southern America at those days, with blood on the leaves? That is the black men being hung there. Now you have who eats pork to identify Muslims and Jews in the Spanish Inquisition, who eats beef to identify who is a Hindu and non-Hindu in India today in 2017. Is this what my country is coming to, sir? And these private armies that are now roaming around, the Prime Minister has said it's the state subject, it's a law and order. These private armies have to be banned by a central order. A central order to ban private armies who are taking law into their own hands. You had the Ku Klux Klan take law into its own hands. You had Hitler and Mussolini's brown shirts and black shirts take law into their own hands. They cannot be banned by any one state government. They'll have to be banned by the state, and that is the central government, because that is the only way. That is the only way you can stop these private armies trying to implement the law of the land for which they have no authority whatsoever. And that is why we immediately ask for a ban on these vigilante groups of all natures, whether it is moral policing, whether it's cow vigilantism, who are resorting to such actions. These groups must be banned by a central order. And that is the demand my party would like to make to the government. But why is this happening, sir? This is not happening because we suddenly have a rise in crime in the country. This is happening because of a certain ideological project that is at work. And that is something we have to understand, sir. Since you and I, all of us have inherited this independent India and this constitution. This was a product of a battle between three visions. The mainstream vision during the freedom struggle of the Congress, they talked of India being a future independent India, being a secular democratic republic. The left, we had a difference. We said we cannot stop at that. You have to move forward to convert our political independence into economic independence, and that can happen only under socialism. Otherwise, this secular democratic republic can also become vulnerable. There was a third vision, which had a twin expression. You had the Muslim League talking of an Islamic India. You had the RSS talking of a Hindu Rashtra. Both of them wanted the country, independent India, to be a theocracy guided by the religious affiliations of its people.
They formed governments together in...
And unfortunately, the Muslim League went and the country was partitioned. For my generation and even for me, all that is history because we were born after that.
But they formed governments together.
Yeah, that apart. But the point is the religious affiliation being the basis for statehood. That is a variance with that other two visions that were there. A secular democratic republic. When after independence, India became a secular democratic country. When Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated out of that anger, that assassination, when that happened, after that, sir, there was a ban on the RSS that was initiated by Sardar Patel. Of all the people, Sardar Patel. And what did the ban order say, sir? Which he drafted himself. On the 4th of February 1948, the Sardar says, I quote, "The objectionable and harmful activities of the Sangh have, however, continued unabated, and the cult of violence sponsored and inspired by their activities of the Sangh has claimed many victims. The latest and the most precious to fall was Gandhiji himself," unquote. Is the cult of violence that is spread. I am not saying that what they say that all these Gaurakshiksaks are RSS people. They are saying no, they are anti-socials, they are criminals. Prime Minister has said so. They are criminals by night and they may be something else by the day. But why are they getting this courage and this courage to act? Because of the spread of this cult of violence. And that is what has to be contained. But that battle of the visions, did not stop there. Unfortunately, many were lulled into submission thinking that was stopped there. But no, subsequently, what have we seen? Subsequently, what have we seen, sir? The brand of nationalism that was pursued even after Mahatma's assassination, even after adopting our constitution. Here I quote to you, sir, what the RSS chief at that point of time said, quote, "What is the attitude of those who have been converted to Islam or Christianity? Question mark. They are born in this land, no doubt, but are they true to its salt? Question mark. Are they grateful towards this land which has brought them up? Question mark. Do they feel that they are the children of this land and its tradition, and that to serve it, the greater good, it's their great good fortune? Question mark. Do they feel it the duty to serve her? No. No. Together with the change in their faith, gone are the spirit and love and devotion for the nation." Unquote. If this is the values that you are spreading in ideology after independence, after a constitution, what has this been, sir? Directly contradicts what you have said, the right to equality. What we've given in our constitution, the right to equality irrespective of your caste, creed or gender or sex. That's the word used in the constitution, unquote. It directly contradicts that. And this is the sort of an ideological position that has risen to this levels whereby nationalism is only equated as Hindu nationalism or Hindutva nationalism. This is not my Bharat Mata that I know, sir. My Bharat Mata has given birth to Muslims, to Christians, to, in fact, Parsis, to Buddhists, to Jains, and to atheists. This is not the Bharat Mata. When we say Bharat Mata ki Jai, we say Bharat Mata ki Jai for all these people. But at the same time, we say Jai Hind. Why is Jai Hind not a patriotic slogan, and why is Bharat Mata ki Jai alone a patriotic slogan? Is there no insidious meaning in that? And that is why. Oh, Bhagat Singh Inkilab Zindabad. Is that not patriotic? Is Bhagat Singh not patriotic? Then do not distinguish on the basis of what slogans are shouted. A patriot is a patriot. He is an Indian patriot. And that is why that Indian patriotism is what we are standing for, not for Hindutva patriotism or for Hindutva nationalism. It's Indian nationalism. And it is that Indian nationalism that has to be nurtured, and that is our duty. And because of not nurturing that, you have these lynch mobs here today. You have these lynch mobs that come out of that hatred. And this nationalism, sir, this nationalism, unfortunately, I want to tell you, I don't feel very good saying this, but I want to bring to the notice of this August House that there was a nationalism of this type that was also there that the world had seen, and that was Hitler's nationalism. And what was Hitler's nationalism, sir? He talked of German nationalism as a gigantic national organism. He talked of it as a body. And if the German nationalism has to be stronger, this gigantic organism, I'm quoting from the Mein Kampf that he written, this gigantic organism has to be rid of all the germs that are alien to that organism. And then, to do so, what does he say? I quote from Mein Kampf. This urge for maintenance of unmixed breed, breed Hindutva, unmixed breed, which is a phenomenon that prevails throughout the whole of the natural world, results not only in sharply defined outward distinction between one species and another. The struggle for daily livelihood leaves behind in the ruck everything that is weak or diseased or wavering. If this weak or diseased or the wavering are not removed, this organism of German nationalism cannot be strengthened. And that is why he says, since the inferior always outnumber the superior, the former would always increase more rapidly. Recollect the multiplication of the Muslim race versus the Hindu race. They will increase more rapidly if they possess the same capacity for survival and for the procreation of their kind. The final consequence would be that the best in quality would be forced to recede in the background. Therefore, a corrective measure in favor of better quality must intervene, unquote. Weed away all these elements. That is how you strengthen German nationalism. That was Hitler's nationalism. Today, weed away all non-Hindus. You strengthen Hindu nationalism. That is the philosophy that is prevailing and that is rising in our country. It is not Hindu, right? It is Hindutva nationalism. And it is this. This is what is giving the sustenance for such groups to continue to exercise and do what they are doing, sir. And if this is the vigilantism that we are seeing today is a part of this larger effort. So it is no longer just the fringe doing it. It is not some fringe or some antisocial elements or some criminals. But what the Sardar himself said, that the cult of violence spread by these, that is generating all these elements into action, into attacking the very foundations of our constitutional republican order, where that basic right to equality is being denied, that basic right to faith and propagate each own faith is being denied. And if that is happening, you are undermining this very constitutional order. That is why the fight against this lynching and this vigilante groups is essential to maintain our constitutional order. And this, let me tell you, is something not only me saying it. The government's favorites, that is the foreign media. And is the foreign media, sir, I quote to you the New York Times, which is kept in very high esteem by this government. And the New York Times in its editorial, what does it write? 2-3 days ago. I quote, this might seem, this meaning these lynch attacks, this might seem like merely a farcical move by Hindu fanatics, if it were not so in line with much else that is happening in Mr. Modi's India. And if implications for India's democracy weren't so chilling. But this is where Mr. Modi has brought the nation as it prepares to celebrate 70 years of independence on August 15, unquote. New York Times editorial. What does the Financial Times say, sir? This weekend, the weekend that's passed, that the Prime Minister, this government, quote, must stop pandering to the Hindu right. This policy comes against the backdrop of an increase in attacks by Hindu vigilantes on those suspected of trading or consuming beef. An estimated 25 people have been killed in such attacks so far. Unquote. This is your international standing today. And they are recognizing what is happening in our country is something that is completely antithetical to the entire constitutional values and the order that we have given ourselves. Sir, you sitting on that chair, all of us have come with an oath on this constitution. We have come with an oath on this constitution which gives me एक धर्मनिरपेक्ष जनतंत्र का गणतंत्र, a secular democratic republic. That is Bharat. Now that is under question today, and that is why I say this is not my mother India that is happening. What did my mother India teach me? We all grew up and continues to teach me today. What did our Swami Vivekananda tell us? Like different rivers flow in different directions, in different courses to merge in the same ocean, like that different human beings through their own faiths or through being an atheist, all merged into one ocean of humanity.
Yes. What is Rigveda says?
Exactly. Rigveda tells you, your Bhagavad Gita tells you, when in the Vishnu avatar, when Krishna comes down to say that I will protect every human being in every faith that he believes in. That is what my mother India tells me, sir. So will you tell me now what I should wear? Will you tell me who will be my friend? Will you tell me what I should eat? Will you tell me that you are killing cows when I am not? Will you tell me that India's second largest industry of beef exports in the world, where more than today, nearly more than 5 million people are working there, maximum from Gujarat, who are working there, I mean, all of these are what? Anti-national? Are they enemies of the nation? So that is where, please, at least, if not us, you don't take our opinion seriously. But if you take at least the opinion of the G20 that you consider serious, at least take the opinion of the USA, for where you have been 5 times in 3 years. Take the New York Times editorial. Take what they are saying. Prime Minister, concentrate on your reforms, economic policies, and not on this Hindutva. Stop the country from moving towards the Hindu right. So these lynchings, sir, are not isolated incidents of law and order. These lynchings are part of an ideological construct that wants to undermine the secular democratic character of modern India, which is there in our constitution, and replace it by whatever they call by their concept of what is called the Hindutva Rashtra. That is why this is a serious matter. That is why I am beseeching you, sir, immediately ban all these cow vigilante groups, ban your anti-Romeo squads. Unfortunately, okay, but when some of us had the fortune of being educated in our mother tongue as well as in English, but why do you invoke poor Shakespeare into your campaigns, sir? Call them by some other name. Why anti-Romeo? Why do you insult Shakespeare? Why do you call him into the whole thing? Anyway, that is an aside. Apart from that, these groups must be legally banned, and let us together build our country, whichever direction we want to take. Let us discuss, let us see what is there, meet our differences. So I beseech in the finally, I only beseech all of you. All of us have our beliefs, all of us have our faiths, all of us have also atheists like me, and only to tell you, atheism in Indian parampara is as old as Hinduism itself. Charvaka was your first atheist, a Brahmin atheist. And so therefore, don't hold me saying that you are anti-Indian by being an atheist. But I mean, and for all of us, we all have our rights. Let us all together stop this degeneration in our country, and that is my message to the House and my appeal to the government to immediately ban these organizations.
Thank you.